Rabbit farming can be a profitable business when done rightly. Watch this video to the end as we show to you how or the things to avoid in order for you not to have mortality rate when practicing rabbit farming. So one of the things to do in order for you to avoid mortality rate in your rabbit farming, it is the construction of the cage, that is the hutch. So talking about the hutch, the construction system matters in order to keep your rabbits in good health. As you can see here, the floor of this hutch is spaced out in such a way that when the rabbits do their droppings and urinate, it can easily pass without standing inside the hutch. By so doing, our rabbits cannot easily fall sick or they cannot be contaminated by bacteria. The next thing to do in order for you to avoid mortality rate in your rabbit farming, it is the feeding. It should be noted that rabbits are mostly herbivorous animals. That is, they feed mostly on grass and other vegetations. So it is advisable that when you are feeding your rabbits with grass, feed them with healthy grass. That is, grasses that are not contaminated maybe by parasites or insects, such as caterpillars, which may be dangerous to the health of your rabbits. Here at Otto'sFarms, when we want to feed our rabbits with grass, we make use of potato leaves. Potato leaves is very nutritive and it is mostly composed of fibers. Feeding them with potato leaf, it keeps them healthy. So when we want to harvest our potato leaf, we make sure that the grasses are healthy and that they are well washed in order to eliminate sand and insects on it. So feeding your rabbits with proper feed or grass, it is highly advisable. In cases where or in places where you don't have grasses, you can still feed your rabbits with feed. As you can see here, we give feed to our rabbits times that or days that we cannot harvest grass or we don't have grasses around, especially during the rainy season or especially during the dry season. So it is advisable for you to feed your rabbits twice daily, that is in the morning and in the evening, because sometimes you can have mortality rate because of poor feeding. So it is advisable for you to be consistent in feeding your rabbits. Another thing to do for you to avoid mortality rate when doing rabbit farming, it is mostly when you are preparing to receive new bunnies. That is, when you are preparing to receive new bunnies, you need to take into consideration the box construction. That is, when you want to construct your box for your rabbits to give or to kindle in it, you need to construct it properly in order for your rabbits or your bunnies to be safe. For instance, here we make our construction of our boxes with local materials, that is just a plywood and zinc, in order to protect our bunnies not to jump out or move outside easily. Here, this is an old box which we have been using to nurse our bunnies at delivery period. As you can see, it's dipped, enabling our bunnies to stay here for about 2 weeks, because when your rabbit kindles inside a box like this, the bunnies begin to move from one place to the other or from one corner to the other in search of comfort or of their mother. By so doing, they can come out from the box and maybe fall from the hutch, yes, from the spacing that you have left from the hutch construction. So they can fall from it and fall down, and by so doing they can catch cold and die. So it is advisable that when you're constructing a box or a nest for your bunnies, make sure that it is well closed and deep, enabling your rabbits to get inside easily without the bunnies moving outside anyhow. However, in order for you to avoid mortality rate when preparing to receive new bunnies, it is advisable that you should keep the box or let your rabbits or your dew kindle in a place that is warm. This is so because when your bunnies are being kindled, they are kindled without fur on their bodies. So it is advisable to prepare the place, that is keeping it warm. As you can see here, when you have a good dew, she makes sure that she removes her fur and put inside the box in order to receive her bunnies. In some cases where the dew is not experienced to remove her fur, it is advisable that you should put dry leaves inside the box in order to keep the box warm before the kindling of your bunnies. So if your bunny or if your rabbit has to kindle by, maybe if you cross it by the 31st or the 1st of a month, you have to make sure that your box should be inserted inside a hutch maybe 10 to 7 days before her kindling, in order for her to be used to the box. Because if you put it late, she will kindle out of the box, and by so doing the bunnies might fall down from the hutch. Another thing for you to do in order to avoid mortality when doing rabbit farming, it is for you to do proper observation. Observing your rabbits keenly will help you avoid mortality rate. For instance, talking about observation, it means that when you are feeding your rabbits, you have to observe their reaction towards the feed. When your rabbits are in good health and you are coming to give them food, you will see them running around in order for them to get food. But in the case where you notice a rabbit standing on one place while the others are trying to run to get food, and this is especially when you put many rabbits together, and even when you have just one rabbit in a hutch, and when you are coming to give it food and you notice that it is slow or it is not reacting to the food, you should know that there is a problem. Most often, the common problem which rabbits always have when they are slow in reacting to feed, it might be due to bacteria or an infection on the skin. For instance, it is also advisable that when you want to observe your rabbits, make sure that you touch the body, because when you touch the body and you realize that there is something on the body, on the skin, it could be maybe pus. Yes, because if your rabbits have pus in their body or on their skin, it's going to make them sick and they can die without you noticing the cause. So it is advisable to always touch or observe the skin of your rabbits to know what is the problem. Sometimes you might even find maggots inside the body or the skin of your rabbits, which kills them slowly. So it is advisable for you to check them thoroughly or properly for you to know if there's anything on their body or not. But in the case where you see nothing on their skin, you can administer them antibiotics or vitamins in order for them to be boast or to have more appetite to eat. Another thing to do in order for you to avoid mortality when doing rabbit farming, it is hygiene. Your rabbits have to be always kept clean. As you can see, the construction of this hutch, it is suspended. By being on suspension, your rabbits won't have contact with their excretors and urine. As such, your rabbits will always be in good health, because when your rabbits get in contact with their excretors and urine, they can easily be contaminated by parasites or bacteria. So that is why it is advisable to build suspended hutch that will give a gap between their excretors and urine. So always make sure that your rabbits are clean. For instance, as you can see, this white rabbit, it is very clean and beautiful. You see, so as it is clean like this, it cannot easily fall sick, and it will not die easily without you being able to administer them maybe antibiotics or spending money on antibiotics and other treatments. So when doing rabbit farming, focus on the hygiene. Thank you viewers for watching this video on how to avoid mortality when practicing rabbit farming. Please do subscribe on our YouTube channel in order for us to bring to you more updates on how to carry out or practice a successful rabbit farming.